Hello, beautiful Healing with Foods fans and followers. This is Mihaela Telekan, your host. First, I have to say it's been a long time since I came up live. And that's not because I was sick or anything like that. It was simply because I got busy with my own personal life. And in order for me to show up and serve you, I have to find myself in a strong place physically, emotionally, and mentally and spiritually. So I simply did not disappear, but took time for myself to reflect on my personal life, on the current situation we are all facing as humanity. And I have to say, the unfortunate event I had in my family last week really made me reconsider my stance and my desire to come and share with you how I feel, what I believe is the approach, a sensible approach to the current global health crisis, let's call it that way. And I want to invite you to receive this message with an open heart and an open mind, and to understand that we are sovereign beings and each one of us has the right to make a choice. And we should make our choice, our individual choice, based on the knowledge we have at hand, and refrain from judging others. So today I'm just going to share a little bit of the what happened last week in my family, and just my general position and why I believe in this particular approach. So a brief history. My father, he's 75 years old. Last year in October, he had the COVID. It took about a month to fully recover and get back to life. It was a very scary situation. He was frightened, needless to say. However, he did not require hospitalization. We um, treated him at home with alternative treatments, some of which included nebulized hydrogen peroxide, of course, high doses of vitamin D, vitamin C, good nutrition, no antibiotics, no medical drugs, just supplements, food, and like I said, the only intervention, more drug related intervention would be the nebulized hydrogen peroxide. All in all, he recovered from it beautifully. At the end of it, he changed his lifestyle dramatically. He embraced more of a low carb eating style with more intermittent fasting. He stopped consuming alcoholic beverages, reduced them to almost nothing, and he was doing very well. However, he chose to take the COVID vaccine. He took the AstraZeneca vaccine, despite the fact that I explained to him, you don't need the vaccine, you have natural immunity. And if you take any vaccine, for sure not AstraZeneca, because it's known to have, as one of the adverse reaction, blood clot formation, and he has a cardiovascular disease. I don't want to disclose his medical conditions, but he was definitely, he had all the underlining health issues along with age for someone that if they would contract COVID to die, which he didn't. He survived. So he survived natural selection. Yet, because of all the fear that has been uh, instilled in him, like in many others, by watching the news and all the ads for vaccines, he could not think rationally anymore, and he decided to take the shot. Okay, he took the shot, and on the 31st and on the 8th of 31st of August, and on the 8th of April, he had a blood clot in his brain, and he was luckily taken to the emergency room and received in timely manner anticoagulant therapy, and the clot was dissolved. So now he's all in all, he's recovering in the neurology hospital. He's slowly regaining his ability to speak, to swallow, because he had dysphagia, and we hope that this will turn out into a successful recovery. But with this happening, I was so angry. I have to say, I was angry with the system. um, why we do mass vaccination? Why are we not screening the people that had the disease to check their antibodies to see if they have natural immunity, they don't require vaccination? Why are we not doing on an individual basis assessment if the candidate is a good candidate for a vaccine? um, why are we trying to put vaccination passport? What is with this madness? Masking, isolating, vaccinating everybody. Never in human history we've done this. If someone was sick, we isolated the sick, not the healthy. Um, if anybody needed a vaccine, was individualized to the person that could receive the vaccine because they had enough not contraindications, and they did not already have a natural immunity, and they would be at a higher risk of having dying or having severe disease from contracting the disease versus the risks of taking the vaccine, right? So we always have to do an assessment of risk benefits assessment. So at first I was very angry, and of course I had to work through my anger and let go of that, and forgive the people that are promoting this, because outside of forgiveness we cannot heal. We cannot heal. It always hurts the person that fosters those emotions. So if I have anger in me and resentment and frustration, all those emotions, they will only corrode my physical, spiritual, mental health. So I worked on my forgiveness, and I'm glad I didn't come live when that happened, because it would have been a completely different energy I would have brought with me. Um, and then my message to you, my invitation to you, is to think, to think for yourself. And if you are in alignment with wearing a mask, if that's what you think is going to save you from contracting a virus, that the size of the virus is so much smaller than the mask can filter. So just think logically, is a mask really going to stop the transmission of a virus through the pores of the mask, right? So do your due diligence and inform yourself, and if that's what you are in alignment with, do it for yourself, and do not judge the other one that doesn't do it. Do not think that they are putting you at risk. No, you are protected. Be in peace with your choice. If you think you need a vaccine and that's what you need to be saved from this virus, go with it, and do not judge the other one that chooses not to take a vaccine. So that's my invitation to you. Um, when we judge others, we judge the parts of ourselves that are not healed within ourselves. So we always have to free ourselves from judging. That's number one. Now, what I believe about masking and distancing and vaccination, I believe in the power of the immune system. Your best mask is your immune system. Your best vaccine is your immune system. Your best isolation, which is not best, in fact, that's worse, that's not good for your immune system, it's still your immune system. In other words, you as a sovereign being want to rely on the strength of your immune system that is capable to fight with whatever you're being exposed to from the environment you live. Um, so that is, there are two theories out there. One was postulated by Pasteur, which introduced the theory of the germ theory, where he said that there are germs in the environment, and when we come in contact with these germs, they can kill us. And is the terrain theory, which I forgot who postulated, was around the same time. I forgot his name. He postulated, obviously, he didn't make it into the science books, so I can't even remember his name. He postulated that yes, there are germs, but it's not the germs that determine our fate. It's our own inner landscape that determines our fate, how we interact with those germs. In other words, the strength of your immune system, your overall health, your metabolic health, your hormonal health, your immune health, all of that, the fundamental health that you have. I'm saying hi to all of you that are live right now. I have a hard time seeing the screen because of the sun hitting my eyes. That's why I keep the glasses on, because the sun is right there. I'm facing west. So you will feel much more empowered if you realize that the power is within you, not within an outside agent. What makes you strong and resilient is your fundamental health, your immune health. And what gives you this fundamental health and immune health are things like this: spending time outdoors, being exposed to sunlight. That is crucial for our health. Being in touch with the earth, following the circadian rhythms of our planets, going to sleep closely after sundown, waking up with the sunrise, eating wholesome foods, not packaged processed foods made out of chemicalized and processed ingredients. We are so far removed from our natural way of living. Our inner landscape, our fundamental health, our immune health are collapsing because of the way we live today, isolating ourselves from sun exposure, isolating ourselves from nature and movement, being in front of the screens under artificial light, eating foods that are depleted of nutrients, or if we even eat whole foods, there are chances that they are loaded with chemicals being sprayed like pesticides and herbicides and insecticides, and glyphosate is the biggest threat to our health, our microbiome. So we have to change the way we think about our health. Number one, to make choices that support our innate immune system, that give us a strong fundamental health. And that goes to choosing foods that are real whole foods, that are free of chemicals, eating foods that nourish the human body. And those are your animal foods. I'm going to give you just a quick example. I watched a interview with Sasha Stone and Elena and Alejandro. I can't remember their last name. Anyway, they were doing a frequency reading of our the collective, the human collective immune system today, and then of different groups of people. And I thought it was very, very interesting. Those of you that are interested in watching that, comment below or message me privately, and I can share with you the link to this particular interview. It was fascinating. So as a collective, and I don't have the paper with me, I didn't even think I was going live, but I just felt inspired to, so here I am. They use the consciousness or emotional scale created by Dr. I think it's David Hawkins, is a PhD MD, the one that wrote the book Power versus Force and Letting Go, and several other books. And so they measure the collective the frequency of the collective human collective immune system. So where we are right now, humanity, with the immune system on this scale, frequency consciousness scale, and we are at 100, which is the frequency of fear. Too bad I don't have the chart in front of me. I would have read more precisely. This is just based on memory. And then they measured tribes, and the one that has the highest frequency for their immune system, believe it or not, is the Hadza tribes in Central Africa. The very tribe that not too long ago Dr. Paul Saladino, which is the carnivore MD, visited and spent a week with these people. And that's exactly what he said about these people. They have incredible health, no chronic diseases, no inflammation, no cancer, no diabetes, none of the modern diseases that are really 100% caused by our lifestyle. So isn't that amazing that he observed that firsthand, and he came from there and he said these people are intrinsically happy. They are joyful to be alive and to go and hunt their next meal and to gather together as a tribe around the fire and to just be. And then when they measure the frequency of these two people, these two groups, they don't even know about each other, and then they measure the frequency. It's not like they work together and then they conspire to tell us that the Hadza tribes are something special about them. So the Hadza tribes immune system vibrates at 525, the frequency of love and joy. I believe it's joy, and love is at 600. So they're right there between joy and love. It's unbelievable. And sadly to say, vegans vibrate at 100. Although vegans think that they are doing good for the planet and they go in thinking that it's good for their health and it's good for the environment, their collective, the frequency of their collective immune system, it's at 100, the same one as everybody else, fear. I wish they did the carnivore frequency. I think I'm going to message them to ask them if they can scan the collective immune system of the carnivore people. I would be very, very curious to see what it comes. Other Amish were at 100. Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientologists were at 200, which is the level of courage. I'm trying to remember who else was more like around the 200, more than the average people. An island from Greece that is part of the zones, the blue zones. So anyway, that was interesting and fascinating. So why is this important? It's important because if we choose to live our life the way we are meant to be, together as humans, it's so important. Like when we isolate ourselves, not only it affects our mental health, and you can see the reports, depression, suicidal, substance abuse, everything went up since the lockdown, since people cannot gather together. We are social creatures. We need to get together in circles, as family, as friends, as a community. So isolation is not good for mental health, physical health, emotional health, nor for immune health. We need to be in contact with each other, to exchange germs, to be in contact with nature, to receive germs from our environment. So we stimulate our immune system. If we were to live in a sterile environment, we literally handicap our immune system. We have to have the stimulation that gets our immune system to work and brings us that resilience that we need. Of course, the person that's sick has to isolate herself from the healthy ones. But once they recover, then they want to engage in life. So that's the isolation aspect. Living in fear for the last year and change, since we have this pandemic, everybody lives in fear. My father was terrified, and not because his cold was so much worse than other colds he had in other winters, but from all the news that he heard every day. Oh, so many people are dying of COVID, and even young people are dying of COVID. I'm not saying they're not dying. I'm not dismissing that. What I'm saying, why don't we say, from so many people that have COVID, how many recover? Why do we only present the doom and gloom news? So we instill fear in people. Out of fear, we cannot make rational decisions. We cannot have a strong immune system. We cannot heal. We need the energy of love and joy and excitement to heal, to be strong. So So isolation, and then isolation from the environment, going back to this, the role of the sunlight in our health. Vitamin D is crucial for the function of our immune system. All the cases, when they looked at people that contracted COVID and the severity of the COVID and those that died from COVID, they all had suboptimal, low, not even sub, low levels of vitamin D. So if you keep your vitamin D levels in optimal range, be there around 60, you boost the power of your immune system. You boost your terrain. You are able to deal with whatever comes from the environment. So that's your best bet. So if you are not spending, those are dolphins. Oh my gosh, did you guys, you couldn't see that. Okay, maybe we'll get to see some dolphins together. If you are unable to spend enough time in the sun to get vitamin D naturally, because that's how we produce vitamin D, through sun exposure in our skin, from the cholesterol, we produce vitamin D. Supplement with vitamin D. Test your levels, supplement. If you don't know how to supplement, I'm more than happy to share with you the sliding scale I have. Message me and I'll share that. I have a flyer, a handout that I can share with you so you know how to supplement, because you want to supplement according to your blood level and boost up your vitamin D levels. Super cost effective, is one of the cheapest vitamins that we can take, and one of the most crucial ones for our immune health and overall health. So I that's what I want to with regards to to masking. Please, the virus, the size of the virus particle, it goes through. But if that's what you think it saves you, use it. However, you need to breathe fresh air, oxygen. That's what you need. Not to breathe, recirculate, inhale the carbon dioxide that you are exhaling. So think twice before you put a mask, especially outside. Okay. The other one is vaccines. Where do I stand on vaccines? Personally, I never take any like flu vaccines or anything like that. I have a healthy, robust immune system. I very rarely catch colds. I can't even remember when I had like a flu or a type of cold. Sometimes I have congestion, and that I attribute to the fact that I consume dairy products, but not cold. So I personally do not take vaccines. Secondly, what we have out on the market there has not, we cannot, they don't even qualify, most of them, as a vaccine. They are, I would call them experimental um, gene therapy, those that are the mRNA, and the other ones are experimental shots that have not been approved by the FDA. They are allowed as an emergency based intervention. So we need long-term studies. We don't have long-term studies on animals nor on humans. In other words, the humans that are taking now the vaccines become the test subjects. And in 2, 3 years, we would have more information on the safety and efficacy of those shots. So if you are in alignment with taking the vaccine, by all means, take it, but do not put pressure on your fellow humans that choose not to do so, and do not judge. Again, I'm going back to the same thing. Do your due diligence, inform yourself, and make an informed decision. And just the best example I can give you, just like you are not forcing someone to drive the car you drive, or to eat the food you eat, or to take the medications you're taking. You cannot force or impose on someone else to do those things. I mean, to take a shot, and to judge that person and to say that person is selfish because they're not doing what you're doing. As long as you do it and you feel safe, leave it at there. This is my message to you. I hope I was able to convey a message that empowers you. First, to educate yourself, to make informed choices, and to look at your body as having everything it needs, she needs or he needs, to be, to heal, and ultimately to thrive is not dependent on any outside force. So if you're able to trust that your body has given to you perfectly designed for you to live your best life here on earth, then this will inspire you to make choices that are in harmony with that. If you think it doesn't matter anything you do, and in the end you take a pill or a vaccine or you'll put a mask on, and that's what saves you, then go do that. But again, do not get pissed off with those that are choosing to do differently, because it's two different ways of thinking. The empowered way, where you are the sovereign being, you have everything it takes to heal, and you support that through your food and lifestyle choices, and is the outside of you power. Somebody else has the answer. The government has the answer. The doctor has the answer. The pill has the answer. You have nothing to do with what's going on. All you need to do is to follow the directions that someone else gives to you. If that's your choice, go with that. And that's the end of story. With this being said, thank you for those of you that join me live. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Those of you that are watching the replay, hashtag replay. If any of you watching are interested in getting the link to that interview, which was fabulous, about the frequencies. And by the way, they measure the frequencies of the vaccines, um, and the impact on their body. I mean, very cool stuff, very cool stuff. But for that, to tap into that, you have to understand that everything is or to tap into the belief that everything is energy. So you want to understand the energy of matter, so to speak. So if you want that, message me privately. I'll be happy to share you the link to that, as well as the link to the vitamin D handout. Thank you so much. Share this with your friends and family if you find it useful. And stay tuned. I'll come back with more insights. And never forget, you have an inner healer. All you need to do is to go within and listen to your inner healer and support your inner healer through the food choices you make and the lifestyle